expert tips and tricks, deadlift. If you're not familiar with a deadlift or comfortable with a deadlift, you can regress it into a kettlebell deadlift. The main difference between a deadlift and a squat is the squat is more of a knee hinge, putting more of the work into the quad. Come up. A deadlift is more of a hip hinge, putting more work into the posterior chain, glutes and hamstrings. Just come up. So if you're not familiar with a deadlift, we can regress and use a kettlebell. This is easier. This is where you should start. Once you're comfortable, then we can progress to a barbell. So in a hip hinge position, Kirby is maintaining neutral spine as always. Her hips are up and back. She doesn't want to make sure that she falls in too much into a knee hinge, into a squat position. So it's hips up and back, making sure the glutes and the hamstrings are taking the work. Neutral spine the whole time, no head up. Neutral spine from coccyx to cranium. Beautiful. She's driving her hips in. And as she goes down, come up. As she goes down, her first movement again is hips back. But she pushes her hips back way back further than when she does a squat. Come up. Hips back. And her knees stay straight until the weight gets to her knees. Then she bends at the knees. Come up. So it's hips, 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 hips. Now knees. Drive up, hips in. Hips back, hips, 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 knees. Beautiful. Take a breath. Come up. Face the camera. Knees and feet. Here in the deadlift, we want feet parallel. And your knees track over toe 2. So there's no taper, and knees don't go out too wide. Come down. Beautiful. So knee tracks along with toe 2 and 3. Chest up, neutral spine. Beautiful work. Once you're comfortable with the kettlebells, we can progress to the bar. We're going to break this down. With the deadlift, there's a lot to think about. So we're going to start at the bottom, and every time you set yourself up to do your left, to do your lift, to do your sets, I want you to start from the bottom, work your way up through. First, we start with your feet. We want the bar to be over the tongues of your shoes. Once you're here, your feet are parallel, shins to the bar, take the bar. With your hands, now knees. Push down over toe 2 and 3, hips are up and back. Next is shoulders. Down and back hard. Pretend that you're bending the bar in half. That's going to keep your lats on. And when your lats are tight, your spine's going to be protected. If you let your lats slack and your shoulders dip forward, we get an arch back. Again, creating an arch in the spine, risking injury. So lats are on. Bend the bar in half. Now squeeze knees, squeeze tension into your feet. From here, neutral spine, deep breath in, intra-abdominal tension, chest up, and then when we lift, what we want to think about and what we want to stimulate or simulate is we want to make sure that the first part of the movement, bar to knee, is you pushing your feet under. Push your feet into the ground. That gets the bar to your knee. Just rest at your knee, come up. And once the bar's at your knee, the next part of the movement is driving hips in. Beautiful. So there's no lifting. What we're doing is pulling ourselves under the bar and then drive hips in. Beautiful. Let's just roll around to the side. Yep. Start on the floor. Kirby's glutes are her big counterweight. The further up and back we can get this counterweight, the easier we're going to make this lift. Just take a brief breath. The easier we're going to move this way. If she allows her bum to come in and down, sorry, it's a long time to be in the crouch position, go down. Now bring your hip bum in and down. Hips bent. She now loses the leverage. She's down here. And now she's got to lift it up. So think of leverages and use your asset. This is a big counterweight. Up and back, driving in against the bar. Start on the floor. So she pushes herself under the bar, then drive hips in. Go down, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, come up. Beautiful. Shoulders back and down hard. We want to get these scapula into these bottom pockets. I want you to be sore here because these are working. Pull these down. As soon as you get slack here, you risk injury. As soon as this bar gets heavy, this bar is pulling your shoulders forward. So these muscles have to work hard to counteract the weight of the bar, keep your shoulders back, and to keep you safe. Go down again, come up to your hips. Come up. Where people go wrong, again here, is their first movement is knees forward. Now the bar has to, if you move at your knees first, the bar has to move and go out and around your knees. Go down, knees first, bar goes forward, and you finish here. Now all that tension's in our back, risking injury. Come up. First movement is hips back, bar stays in contact with the body till the bar gets to your knees, then break it. Beautiful. Set again, lats on, bump up and back, deep breath in, drive hips in. Hips back, hips back, hips back, now knees. Rest, take a rest. Well done. Take a breather. There's a lot to think about, but don't overthink it. When you're going in to do your deadlifts, just start at the bottom, work your way up through. One at a time, don't overthink it, just go through the movement. Take a recording of the lift that you do and submit it into us. Let us see and we'll give you the feedback. So just walk into the bar, right foot, left foot. Bars over the tongue of my trainers, shins to bar, take the bar, knees out over toe 2 and 3. Deep breath in, intra-abdominal tension, squeeze lats, bend the bar, push myself under the bar. Feet into the floor, drive hips in. When I'm at the top, my first movement is hips back, pushing the bar down my quads, hips, 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 hips. When the bar's past my knee, I break it in. Again. Shins, feet, knees, hips. Deep breath in, shoulders back and down. Bend the bar in half, everything's tight. Deep breath in again. Push myself under the bar, drive hips in. When I'm at the top position, I want to be in my strongest possible position, as if I'm about to get hit by a bus. So here, every single muscle in my body is tense and tight. My quads are on, keeping me safe. Some people will get slack, bend their knee, and lock out here, and that puts tension in our lower back. So when we're in that top position, we're as strong as we can. Every muscle in your body will get exercised and trained and worked here. Make sure you keep yourself safe and run yourself through the sequence. Start at the bottom, work your way up.